All right, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Kobe Cole from the Low. Everybody, hope everybody having a good night, a good evening, and had a great day. I got my OG with me, Mister 411, in the building with me. We got a lot going on today, Mister 411. We got NFL on Sunday. Go clean a little overview with some predictions. Then we also got the NBA trade deadline that happened today. A lot of trades, a lot of blockbuster trades. Some good for some teams, some bad for some teams. We got all that in store for you. But before we get into that, do me a favor. Like, comment, and subscribe to me, Cole from the Low, and also to my OG here, Mr. 411 at 411 Sports Run YouTube. His Instagram, Mr. 411, and also his TikTok will be pumping out content at Mr. 411. We also got me on Instagram, Cole from the Low. Same with TikTok, Cole from the Low. I will also be giving my thoughts. So, hey, let's go ahead and get right on to it, Mr. 411. How you doing today?
Man, I'm wonderful, man. Glad to be here.
All right, all right. Let's go ahead and get into the big topic that everybody gonna be at the bars for, getting off early at work, getting your pizza, getting your wings, getting your beers if you're in that certain type of thing. The 49ers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Talk a little overview about that game over here. How you feeling about that game?
Man, I'm telling you what, man, I'm excited about this game. It is a rematch. They played before, and it was an exciting game then. When the Chiefs had a major comeback then, but that was then, right? But this is now, and these are two deserving teams. That's what makes this a great series too. Is like this is not, you know how sometimes you may have a Super Bowl where it's a Cinderella team that made it. A team came out of nowhere and advanced. Injuries happened to a particular team and derailed the favorites and all that kind of stuff. In this Super Bowl, you have the Kansas City Chiefs who did something that they haven't had to do during the Patrick Mahomes era. And I know we talked about this before in the past, but I mean when the playoffs were kind of kicking off and we got around to the conference time, but the Chiefs had to win on the road multiple times to get to this Super Bowl. So this is a team that's proven themselves. This is a team that persevered throughout the entire season with drop passes, with scoring not at a as frequent as they used to back in the day, with Tyreek Hill and that kind of run. This is a team that had to kind of grind it out and kind of go through some things. The quarterback was tested, his patience was tested. The running game, you had a time there where you had to kind of figure out who your running back's going to be on a consistent basis. So there's a lot of things that the Chiefs had to overcome. But they have the pieces in place. They have the team, the core players that have been able to stick together, including the coach with Reed, with the quarterback at Mahomes, tight end at Kelsey, and their defense has been a lot better this year, and we'll talk about that later. And I think that was key so far this season. Then quickly over to the 49ers. Here's a team that if at the beginning of the season, I think it wouldn't have been a stretch to say, hey, the 49ers are going to the Super Bowl. And they persevered this season. They did it with their quarterback that is Mr. Irrelevant. And they had to battle through some injuries too. They had injuries that with some key players throughout the season and they made it here. So I think this Super Bowl is a recipe. All the ingredients are here to have a great Super Bowl and a great matchup.
I agree. I think a lot of people didn't want to see this matchup. A lot of people wanted to see the 49ers versus the Baltimore Ravens or the Baltimore Ravens versus Detroit Lions. I wanted to see the Chiefs versus the Lions. But the thing is, I also wouldn't care for the Ravens versus the Lions. I would have seen that matchup too. But if we get into the matchup as of, and I said this on Instagram too, at Coach from Low, a lot of people don't want to see the Chiefs versus the 49ers, and a lot of people rooting for the Chiefs to lose is because of this right here. And
Yeah, yeah,
and accept it, people. This does not change the football fact. Y'all trying to make it seem like I just don't want to see Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. It's like Tom Brady. Newsflash, people. Not just a couple years ago, I say 2022, we had the Bengals and we had the Rams. Y'all didn't see Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Let's stop complaining about Taylor Swift and Patrick Mahomes. Now let's get to the real football game here. We do got Patrick Mahomes, and we got Brock Purdy, and we got the 49ers. I don't see the 49ers going up against this Kansas City Chiefs team. Now, like you were saying, oh, this ain't the same team. We had to see this team win on the road, which they did. The underdogs against Miami. The only reason they had a little chance against Miami or being the favorites is because they were playing in the cold. We had the underdogs against the Bills. Guess what? Went to the Bills, took care of business. I don't care what no missed field goal kick. Get the job done, Josh Allen. That's what you paid to do. Get the job done. That and the defense. Get the job done. Now you're going into a Super Bowl where this Patrick Mahomes is familiar. Travis Kelsey is familiar. The coaching staff, the whole coaching staff is familiar. It's just gonna be a lot to handle when it's time for it to show up. And that's just the truth. And it's 49 team. I just don't see where they can just pull this off for Brock Purdy to make this a game. He has to go have an MVP performance. 350, close to 400 yards, 2 to 3 touchdowns, maybe 1 interception, and probably over 25 completions. Can Brock Purdy do that? And I just don't know.
Well, we're going to find out. And one thing we know Brock Purdy can do is that he can manage the team. And that's not a knock on Purdy. And I know Cam Newton had to take a big hit for saying that Purdy and some other players like Dak and so on and so forth
Our game
are
manager.
game managers. But being a game manager is not a bad thing. I mean, think about it. He's in the Super Bowl, and so he's playing while other quarterbacks are not playing. And to do your job on a team, that's key too. So yes, for me, I'm not looking for Purdy to be the savior. I'm not looking for him. I just want to see Purdy not make mistakes, not major turnovers. Keep the turnovers down because, like I said, we'll get more detail later. But against a Patrick Mahomes led team, you don't want to give extra possessions. So if I'm a 49ers fan here, which I'm not personally, Seahawks, but um, I'm definitely looking for Purdy to not have some silly interceptions, try to play outside of himself. Remember last week or 2 weeks ago when we had our preview and I was saying about Lamar Jackson, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Lamar Jackson
don't
stay his game. Don't do too much.
right, just stay to your game, play your game. If you got to rush for 200 yards, do that. But instead, you saw a lot of bad throws, a lot of ill-advised passes in the situation. I'm not saying that solely caused them the game, but that you could have extended a lot of drives, a lot more possessions, things like that, less turnovers. And with Purdy, don't try to be Patrick Mahomes. Don't try to be Dan Marino. Don't try to be, you know, Tom Brady. You just be Brock Purdy and hit your targets. You utilize your running back. Utilize the tight end. Get quick throws to those receivers that run like running backs. You got Debo back now. You have IU. You know, use those guys. Let them carry the weight. You just don't turn it over. So that's what I'm looking at as far as on the 49 side of things when it
See,
pertains to Purdy.
but that's the thing though. And like Kim said, Purdy is a game manager. Kim also said that Purdy's what the 10th best player on his team. And there's
Yeah,
no knock to Purdy, but
yeah, that's a good thing.
this is my thing for Purdy. You're a game manager, and it's okay for that. But can you handle that pressure in the Super Bowl? You're going against a team that have been there what 4 times? How many times? I want to say 3 times. They
Yeah, I
lost
mean, they played the Eagles. They gonna be in this one. They played the
and played
Niners. They
the Bucks.
they
They played
played
the
Tampa
Eagles, the
Bay.
Bucks, and the Niners.
Yeah,
So the been with three, yeah,
this would be four of them now.
he'd have been a three already before this one.
Yep,
He won two, and only one he'd have lost to was Tom Brady, which
yep.
that one he might not have lost to if receivers know how to catch the ball that day. Can you handle that game managing in the Super Bowl? It's ain't the regular season no more. Last 2 weeks, you had the Green Bay Packers. That game should have been close, Purdy. Now I won't put a lot of that blame on you because the defense decided to take a day off. I don't know what the secondary had going on. The secondary decided to take a day off that day. But when it came to the Lions last week, you got bailed. I'm sorry to tell the 49 fan base, you got bailed. You don't go for it twice, the game over with. You kick the field goal, you win by 3. McCaffrey run the ball, got you the game winning. You can't make them mistakes in the Super Bowl because you let Patrick Mahomes get a full head of steam. You're gonna have a long night, and it might not be no catching up. It might not be no catching up with Patrick Mahomes. He might have a third ring if you play from behind with Patrick Mahomes. If you play from behind, you're gonna stay behind.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. And that, like I say, that all comes down to turnovers. And the team that's going to turn the ball over the least amount, more likely going to win this game because that's going to affect field position, morale, things like that, sudden change, putting your defense in a bad spot. So the team that's going to turn the ball over the least amount of times, they're going to win this game. We'll come back to it in the post review, and we'll take a look at that stat. But that's where I'm leaning here more so is with Purdy not turning the ball over. If he does, yeah, Kansas City's gonna, control the game because they have excellent scheme. Um, and Reed, right? Andy Reed. He's great at scheming the opponents. He's good. He's great at putting players in a position to take advantage of whatever kind of defense is set in front of them or situations. So you don't want to, add to that by just handing them the ball. So ball control. If you're a 49er fan again, ball control, no turnovers.
That's it. That's exactly what you need. I agree. That's exactly what you need. And if you another thing, you're gonna want to slow down Patrick Mahomes as quick as possible. You're gonna want to frustrate him. You're gonna want to frustrate. I say I probably say you can frustrate any football player, but they can keep their cool. You're gonna want to frustrate Travis Kelsey. You get in his skin, you might have you a good game. You start getting him throw his helmet on the sideline, a couple drop passes, a couple incompletions, 2, 3 and outs. You're gonna have a good day if you get inside Travis Kelsey head. Now you let him get back 50, 60 yards in the first quarter. You might have your long day. You let them get close to 100 in the first quarter. You're gonna have front of a long day. But let's look at some of these stats. We'll start with the 49er stats going into
Yeah,
going into the game.
yeah. Looking there, man. Passing yards, they're right, right number 4. But the rushing yards, that's the key. Running the ball, controlling it. Ball control. That's what they need. And now in the passing game, if they could, this is the game where I would love to. If I'm a Niners fan, you would love to see McCaffrey have a monster game in the passing game because that means
Oh,
those
you
are safe control passes, and you're able to like kind of you know get in the seams of the 49ers defense. I mean, of the Chiefs defense because the Chiefs have a pretty good defense, and I think that's been the key to their season this year is their defense. And so in the passing game, if you can kind of get McCaffrey where he has more of an advantage out there in open space, that would be smart. But that's what we're looking at there with the Niners. So it's pretty interesting to see that they're fourth in passing yards. But I mean, I guess they are. Numbers don't lie there. But yeah, that's what we're looking at. Now passing yards against the 14th, and man, that is something to really dive into when we talk more about the Chiefs and their offense.
yeah. With the 49ers, and I like these stats, I want to see them. I want to see Debo more in the backfield with McCaffrey. I want to see some misdirection on the run. Because if you confuse that front seven, because you more than likely you probably gonna have Sneed on
Hmm.
Ayuk. I think he'll cover Debo, but when Debo start getting that motion, going to the backfield, maybe run the ball, he's gonna be more on covering your main passing threat, which is Ayuk. Now, when it comes to you putting Debo in the backfield, misdirection, going different ways, having McCaffrey go for a pass in the screen game. Their screen game is going to be big. Having McCaffrey go out in the screen game, having Debo go another way, come back the other way. Those confusing that Chiefs defense. I don't care if you that first drive you get a field goal, you get points on the board in your first 2 to 3 drives. You have to get some kind of points, some kind of you get some momentum going. I think that Chief offense can't have a good day, but they need to have momentum on their side, and they need to have a game plan with Debo, Ayuk. A lot of people been forgetting about Kittle, but Kittle
Yep.
can't show up. He showed up against Green Bay.
Hmm.
They have to have these guys show up in some kind of way. And with this 49ers offense, everybody needs to show up. Purdy,
Absolutely, man.
Purdy needs to show up. Debo needs to show up. Kittle needs to show up. Ayuk needs to show up. Because McCaffrey just showed up every single game. But who's going to back up McCaffrey? Green Bay, we had Kittle show up. Lions, we had Ayuk show up. We need a game where everybody shows up. Because everybody don't show up in the Super Bowl. Do you really want that ring?
I'll
That's
tell
what
you
makes
what.
it so.
Yeah, and in the Super Bowl, a lot of times there's players that come out of nowhere that have their big moments. I remember this is going back in the time machine, but the Washington and they call them the Redskins, but you know, Washington Redskins against the John Elway Denver Broncos, and John Elway came out smoking, boom, right off the bat, long touchdown pass, looking like Denver's gonna just run away with it offensively. But man, this guy named Timmy Smith, running back, out of nowhere, just had this monster game, and then we never heard from him since. But like in the Super Bowl, you can have moments like that. You can have players that come out of nowhere. What was the gentleman that caught the ball? Remember, it hit the helmet catch when it was the Giants and the Patriots some
I
years
know what
ago.
you're talking about. I can't think
Tyree, I think it was David Tyree. For some reason, that name is hitting me there. But he caught the ball with the helmet catch. I mean, there's always these moments that can happen. Now, wouldn't it be hilarious though if Tony, the one that's been dropping all these passes all season,
Tony have a
could
monster
you
game.
could you imagine if he had a monster game?
A monster
Like
game.
like
Come out
what
for
kind of
100
post game interview would that be? Yeah,
and that
you
and that
know,
hey what be the funny thing is he'll get so much credit for showing up in the Super Bowl because it's gonna be he showed up what mattered most, did this, did that. But he'll
yeah,
be so trash talked on come off season. He did so terrible in the in season.
yeah. I
And
mean, that'd be wild.
I get another time machine. This might hurt you as a fan, but Malcolm Butler, the goal line,
Okay, yeah. You didn't have to do that, but yeah. Okay.
the goal line pick. Hey, we can all
Yeah,
agree though. They should have ran the ball right.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's Marshawn Lynch all day. Yeah,
Get the ball off. But
yeah.
let's get into the Chiefs stats
Okay.
and this numbers compared to the previous Chiefs we used to seeing. It's a lot of 19s, 15s,
Yeah.
17s, 6 and what's your opinion on that?
Man, I'm telling you, that's the part about persevering throughout the season. See, the Chiefs, over the seasons, especially the Tyreek Hill Chiefs when he was part of that, man, he unlocked so many things, and it was just pretty much open season for everybody because the threat of Tyreek Hill just taking the top off of defense, as one of my sports brothers Zach would say, taking the top off of defense, that was real, and that really helped unlock a lot of pieces with the Chiefs, and then let's also add Kelsey, so that's two unstoppable receivers. Well, after that, after the Tyreek Hill leaving, that only kind of left Kelsey, and we're seeing where they have their struggles, as a total offense. But if you look at the end of the day, they're now in the Super Bowl, which means they were able to deliver when they had to. They were able to get the job done when they needed to, and that's a testament to their quarterback and their offensive coordinator slash head coach, and Andy Reid with his system. Now, one thing I will like to bring up for the listeners to really take a look at is Patrick Mahomes. I think he's averaging around about 7 yards per pass. So it's not like Patrick Mahomes has been just lighting up teams deep down the field, all season and all these 20-yard throws and things like that. It's been kind of methodical. And so, with that said, that's telling me that they don't have that guy that can just break a defense down off over the top, like they, again with the Tyreek Hill era. So, if I'm the 49ers, I want to make sure I keep everything in front of me, and hopefully you can kind of bend but don't break against the Chiefs. What you say?
I like I I like the Chiefs. I like Patrick Mahomes. But so my whole thing about them numbers, right?
Yeah.
Somebody can look good on paper, but when it's time for game time, they act completely different. Because I'm
Mm-hmm.
being real, and I said on TikTok, I had Chiefs losing against Miami.
Ooh, you did.
I I told because on paper, the better team is Dolphins. On paper, the better team was the Bills. On paper, the better team is the 49ers. These stats are not the Chiefs' ordinary stats, but they beat the better team with the better looking stats. So, do I like this Chiefs how the stats looks? No. If I didn't watch the football games and I just look off of stats, I'm betting on the 49ers. But we can't always go off the stats because when Patrick Mahomes get the ball in his hands, it's a different kind of story with Patrick Mahomes. So
Yeah.
I
My only concern is that you kind of, as Bill Parcells used to say, you are what what your record is, or whatever. But like that, you are who you've been, and the Chiefs have been a team that's been able to overcome. Does that mean that they're going to just run away with it? No. But the 49ers are kind of like a similar team, just in a different angle. Like the 49ers they ain't really destroyed everybody they played, but they were able to get the job done. And just like 2 weeks ago against Detroit, man, you watched that game, you just watched the first 2 quarters, you're like, oh man,
but
they don't need to be on the field, right? But they persevere and they find a way to get back into games. And whether it's the help of the team, like in the case of Detroit, they kind of self-destructed, in my opinion. But at the same time, 49ers had to make plays in order for that self-destruction to really pay off. So it's kind of like the balance. I think these two teams are kind of looking at each other, and they're both kind of looking for that respect, if you will. You know what I mean? Like from the Chief side of it, it's like respect us because we've been here. We've been here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we're not doing it in a smooth fashion, but we here and we earned this. And on the 49ers side, hey, look, we've been one of the better teams in the NFC for the last couple of seasons. So respect us as well. So I think that's what we have this class right now.
see, you made two great points right here. And interesting points because point number one, well, I said that for last. The second point you made was you are what you are and the 49ers and how sometimes they get the help from other teams.
Yeah,
That's the thing though. In the season, in the regular season, we always saying the 49ers the best team. After like week four, they destroyed my Steelers, they destroyed some other teams. They're the best team in the league. But we're looking at the playoff season 49ers. I don't think they're that good. And it's not because you don't have great players. I think, well, I'm gonna say that because we're gonna ask who the MVP gonna be is for Super Bowl. But it's just with the 49ers, you're getting help from the other team. And that's what scares me. Because if the other team doesn't give you help, are you gonna win the game? Can you win it on just you? Can you win it off of perseverance? Because the Chiefs get down, mind you, you had a different quarterback, but I was talking to this about my brother. That 49 team really have not changed. Not a lot from when they've been to Super Bowl a couple years ago. That
Hmm.
49 team really has not changed. So can you persevere against a quarterback in a team that has been down to y'all and been down before? And if that quarterback doesn't make mistakes, can I win the game? Another point you made was I forgot the name you said, but you said you are what your record is.
Oh, Bill Parcells. Yeah.
Your part
Okay.
said you are what your record is. And I done had so many arguments about that because I disagree with that statement so much. Little spoiler alert, we got the Pistons, Detroit Pistons. We're gonna talk about them later. But I made stuff about that. Their record at the time was like 4-28, 3-28. It was one of the worst records ever. Now they at seven wins. But we can all agree the Pistons are not that bad of a team. You gave the Boston Celtics an overtime run for their money. They just beat the Kings, I want to say yesterday night. I don't believe in that record. Because if we're going by records, the Kansas City Chiefs should not be here. They lost to the Detroit Lions week one. Yeah, you didn't have Travis Kelsey. But you should be losing to the Lions. The 49ers had a great record. Well, look what y'all doing. Y'all struck against the Green Bay Packers. Why are you struggling against Jordan Love? If it was anything, that game should have been how the Baltimore Ravens game was. Struggle in the first half, blow them out in the second. Show them they don't belong. But you had to rely on Jordan Love throwing the interception. And that 49 just scared me. And another topic we're gonna shift into is this right here. We all know that Eli Manning beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl
Yep. Twice.
twice. Now a lot of people been saying I had this conversation with my boy MK. He said, "What if Eli Manning is not Eli Manning? I'm sorry, Brock Purdy is Patrick Mahomes' kryptonite." And I said it wouldn't be the same. He said, "How? No one thought the Giants was going to win, and Eli Manning won't beat Tom Brady, which is now a lot of people call him the GOAT." And this is I'm gonna get your thoughts on this too. But this is why I say they're not the same. People had no reason to think the Giants is going to beat the Patriots. We have a reason to think that the 49ers is going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. That's point number one. Point number two is, and like I said, unless it's Purdy go has an MVP type of game for the Super Bowl, almost 300 yards or over 300 yards, so and so, did Purdy really beat Patrick Mahomes, or did the 49ers and Christian McCaffrey, which is the best player on the team right now, beat Patrick Mahomes and got them a ring? So we can't say, oh, this man right here is Patrick Mahomes' kryptonite. No, he's not Patrick Mahomes' kryptonite because he is basically is on a team where he all he has to do is manage the game. Hey guys, we got Super Bowl. Let's go to the bat. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, let's just spin it back to Eli Manning now. And I agree with this, right? Because I said it twice that Eli Manning defeated um, Tom Brady in the Super Bowl twice. That's what we say because that's how you keep track of these quarterbacks. You keep track of them by their wins. You say wins, losses, right? But we know there's a lot of factors in there. I think that Eli and the Giants, they defeated the 49ers because they had a great front line. Their front four on defense is what gave Tom Brady and the Patriots fits. So if it wasn't for Strahan and that, and Tuck, Justin Tuck and all that front line where they can rush with four, they could rush and create pressure on the quarterback with four. That's what beat Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? And Eli did, and kind of a Brock Purdy-ish type deal. He played well enough. But if it wasn't for that front four, for the Giants on that defensive front, uh, New England has a couple more championships under their belt. So that's what I say about that. Now, as far as Purdy being the kryptonite to Mahomes, again, I'm with you on that. I don't I don't look at it that way. I look at it as the 49ers as a team. What they have, they can beat the Chiefs. They can beat Patrick Mahomes and Chiefs as a team, meaning using McCaffrey, using those strong receivers, controlling the game, like they're playing solid defense, and even to a degree, and we may see this on Sunday. We may see Mahomes having some receivers let him down throughout the game. You know what I'm saying? Not named Travis Kelsey. Those are the ingredients that I think is what can beat Patrick Mahomes. Not a Purdy straight up. You know what I'm saying? That I don't see that like a duel. I don't see that at all. But yeah, so that's how I look at that. I look at it more as a teams. You know what I'm saying? And when going back to those records, you are what you are. That's because of the ebbs and flows of the season and your roster and the team. Did you have depth? Okay, you don't have depth and you have an injury. Well, that's part of why you where you are. If you fight back or you win some games that probably shouldn't have won, but you figured out a way to get it done, that's part of it. You know what I'm saying? It's just part of the whole package. But yes, no Purdy. Purdy is not a kryptonite to Mahomes. Mahomes is a superior quarterback to Brock Purdy.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. I totally agree. You ready to get into predictions for the game?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Who you got? Chiefs or 49ers?
Well, with all that said, I think it's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to be close. I think that neither team can run away from the other. So I'm looking at this being one of those Super Bowls where it comes down to like the final possession. So a team will have an opportunity to tie it or take the lead on a drive. And I think in this case, it's going to be one of those situations where the 49ers will be able to get like a late field goal and win this game. Does that mean that Brock Purdy's going to outplay Mahomes? In my mind, no, it's not that. But I think that there'll be just enough. I think the Chiefs won't be able to put up like 35, 36 points in this game. I think it's going to be one of those 20. I'm going to go 24. I'm going to go 20, 28, 24, 49ers, 28, 24.
You got 49ers winning.
Yes.
And
Got them winning
you
28, 24.
are you going that because the better team is the 49ers?
I'm going because I just feel like in this matchup that the 49ers, okay, the Chiefs have been carrying the defense has been pretty much carrying the team. Mahomes been has a lot. He's carrying a lot offensively on himself. I think he hasn't gotten the proper help this season throughout the entire season that he needs. I'm not sure if they're going to have a great running game in this matchup. So I see Mahomes doing what he has to do to keep the team in the game, but I just see that the 49ers are going to utilize their weaponry in this thing. Having Debo and IU and Kittle, I think that's going to be enough for them to get at least 28 points on the board. But again, I got it as a close game. So it could be somewhere around that 21 to 24, and the 49ers get a late score and win the game. That's where I'm going with it on this one.
Okay, interesting.
And McCaffrey. Oh, never mind. I'll say that for later. But go ahead.
All right. You go ahead and say your MVP. I know you're
Okay,
going with
McCaffrey MVP. I think he's
and
gonna. That
my
if they're gonna win, that's why. If they're gonna win, ultimately that's gonna be why.
and if I had the 49ers winning, I totally agree. But I'm gonna go Kansas City Chiefs and I'm gonna go Patrick Mahomes and give me Patrick Mahomes as an MVP also. If not Patrick Mahomes, I take Travis Kelsey. But I doubted him week one. After not week
Yep.
one, wild card Super wild card weekend. Never did it again. Have him against the Bills, got him out of here. Have him against the Ravens, got him out of here. I'm not turning my back on Patrick Mahomes now because so and so is the better team. He didn't beat three of the better teams and got his team here. He didn't been here before. He got the experience. I felt the same thing happened last week with not a couple weeks ago with Lamar Jackson. The experience showed. Purdy's experience is gonna show being in these situations. I don't think he's ready for it. Going against Patrick Mahomes, he's been here. He's been to 5 AFC championships. He done won three. I think I said that right. Somebody can fact check me on that. But he done won three or
Yep.
four. I know he lost against
Tampa Bay.
Joe Burrow. No, he lost 10 base Super Bowl. He lost Joe Burrow in the AFC championship.
Oh, you talking about the championship game? Okay, I thought you meant
Yeah.
Super Bowls
Two,
as well.
yeah.
But go ahead.
Super Bowls. He going into four. He now he done won he done won two out of that, only losing one. He done got all the experience he needs to beat this team, to carry his team to the championship. And if y'all have Travis Kelsey come out the gate like he did last week, I'm sorry, a couple weeks ago against the Ravens, it's gonna be a long day. So I will take the Chiefs and I will take Patrick Mahomes as my MVP.
All right, and that right there kind of paints the picture of what the Super Bowl should be. You got two people here that I would consider intelligent sports analysts, and look, we have you know we each picked a different team in this Super Bowl, so it should be a good one. I mean, then that's the way it should be at this point. I do think the right two teams are in the Super Bowl. I did pick the Chiefs to beat the Dolphins in that wild card round, but I did not pick the Chiefs to beat the Ravens. I thought that Lamar Jackson would have ran the ball a lot more in that game to bring it home. But again, give the Chiefs their due. They did what they had to do to win that game, and they did look more experienced. They look like that's a good point that you made about Patrick Mahomes. Is that he has the experience. So there's not anything that's going to shake him. I believe he's going to make the right throws and all that good stuff. We'll just see who else on the other side to catch it. Catch the ball or drop the ball. We'll find out on that end. But yeah, it's gonna be a good one, man.
Who you had the Bills or the Chiefs?
Oh, I had the Chiefs on that one.
Okay.
Um, I think the Bills, they need Bill. They need Bill Parcells. That's the Bill they need. Forget Buffalo Bill. They need Bill Parcells. I'm not Bill Parcells. Bill Belichick. Excuse me. I got all these bills in my mind right now. Even though I have any bills in my pocket, Cole, I need some bills in the pocket, man. But but look, they need somebody like him to kind of settle that team down. They kind of like Josh Allen. He had a great season. I think he played well. But I think he still needs to be reined in just a little bit. And I think that the Bills need to figure out they need to get a real running game, not using their quarterback as their running back. They
There
need
you
a
go.
real running game to kind of balance some things out. And I think Bill Belichick, in Buffalo, that's the perfect kind of area for him to be in. He can kind of stick it back to the Patriots if he wants to. He can stick it back to that whole division. But I think that's what they're missing. But anyway, I did pick the Ravens over the Chiefs. The Chiefs definitely proved me wrong there. So I expect a great Super Bowl, man.
I agree. I agree. All right. Switching the topic. Let's get into the NBA. I've been meaning to
Oh,
talk about this.
I want to make sure something. Did I miss your MVP?
Mahomes.
Okay, all right. Figured
And
that.
if I had to go sick, I'm going Travis Kelsey.
That's right. Okay, that's what it was. That's what it was. Okay, I'm with you now.
Yeah, I'm going Mahomes MVP. I'm gonna go Kelsey for my second. If I go dark horse, just for the heck of it, let's go Kadarius Tony.
Bro, man, look. If they win because of him, I would definitely be happy for the Chiefs. Like again, I don't have a dog in the fight, as they say.
Oh, if they win because of him, I'm making an episode that night. we we're gonna be laughing all night because of that.
Yeah, man.
But getting to the NBA today at 3 o'clock, we had the NBA trade deadline, and we had some monster trades. And we're gonna start off with a different trade. We're gonna start with my favorite trade of the day, but we're gonna talk about. Matter of fact, we're gonna switch up all different.
Okay,
What team you feel like needed to make a trade the most?
okay. A team that needed to make a
That
trade the
needed to make
most.
a trade the most.
That's a very good question there because as I scan through some of these teams, I, and when you say need, okay, I'm a, I'm gonna take teams like the Bucks, Celtics. Nuggets, Clippers, uh, Sacramento, teams like that. I'm taking them off the table. So when I
Okay.
say need, I think they're going to be in the mix with or without a deadline, a trade at the deadline. I'm going to look at a team like the Knicks. They, I believe, they needed to make a trade. They're playing well. They have a good season. They're having a solid season, but there's not too many people that's going to say, "Oh, the Knicks are going to win a championship this year." So if they have a lot of good pieces in place and the right trade can can do wonders for them, because remember, you got a road. The Knicks have a roadblock in front of them. You still have Giannis. You still have Giannis, even though they're trying to figure things out. Their record is still pretty good, even though they brought in Doc Rivers for whatever reason, and even though Dame Lillard is a liability on defense, they still have a solid record, and they have they know how to win. Then you have Boston, who I think is probably the best team in the Eastern Conference right now. I think Boston, if you told me who's the favorite in the East, is Boston. Then you have Joel Embiid, who's injured, but Sixers, you will have them ahead of the Knicks with a healthy Embiid. So the Knicks are the team that I think needed to make that trade. And again, this is not to overlook Cleveland, but I don't quite believe in them. But yeah, so if you give me a team, you to answer your question, I'm going New York Knicks.
And that's interesting because they are one of the teams that did make a trade. But for me and the team, I said they need to make a trade the most, and that I'm completely fed up with right now. The
Uh oh.
Lakers needed to make a trade. I don't care who you would have got. You had Murray on the team. You had all these players on the team. And I know you're gonna say this for one. Why do Bron always need some help? Why Bron?
Yes. Why does
Why
he
Bron?
always need help? I'm gonna let you finish.
But see, this is the thing though. Take Bron out of the equation. Cause when the playoffs come, you know it yourself. Bron is gonna show up. Game four against Denver, he dropped 40 some points. He shouldn't be doing
And
that at
lost.
this stage. AD, sometimes he been doing good this year, but when it's time to show, he either don't score in the second half or he gets injured. Knock on wood. But one of them happened. Who is our third scorer? D'Lo want to take breaks sometimes. Alex start take breaks. Austin Reeves, I love him, but he's not our solidified third scorer. And then you got uh uh Darvin Ham
Hmm.
bouncing out D'Lo and Reeves. You take them away, who's your scorer? Not Rui, not Vanderbilt, not Jackson Hayes,
Hmm.
not Christian Woods. Who else do you have? Make a trade, get you a third option. Because even when Braun sits out, AD sit out, you need you a third option guy. And that's just what you need. Most teams in the NBA, if it's not a solidified third option, you have somebody that can pick up the slack. You go Celtics. That might be a bad example, but if you go Celtics, Jason sit out, uh Jason Tatum sit out, Jalen Brown sit out. You still got Derrick White. You still got Drew Holiday. You had Chris
Hmm.
Paul Porzingis, but I'm not gonna count him either. You got Derrick White. You got Drew Holiday. You got the 76ers. Maxey sits out. Joel sits out. Tobias proved he can go drop you 30. You go the Suns. You got Bill. He just dropped 30 the other night. Go get your third option guy. Why are we wasting the trade deadline? I just don't understand that.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. As far as the Lakers are concerned, the they need to run the offense through Anthony Davis. They just need to run it all through him and let everybody play off of him. When LeBron and AD sat out and the keys were just handed to D'Angelo Russell and handed to Reeves, you saw what they can do. The talent is already on the team. There has to be from the head coach and from the best player on the team. You gotta be able to devise a system that allows the other players to be able to give what they can give to you. Like D'Angelo Russell, when he was playing with Minnesota, man, you go through his game log, he had 28, 30, even a 40-point game in there.
Same when he
He
was on
can
Knicks.
you're right, he can cook. in Brooklyn, yeah, he can get down. This is his second trip with the Lakers, but it's a gift and a curse is what I say about LeBron James. He is one of the greatest players you'll ever see, but he has the ball too much, and in doing so, if he's gonna play that style, when I see LeBron play at his best is when he have guys who can spot up and shoot. When you have an Austin Reeves, you have a D'Angelo Russell. Those guys play with the ball too. And in fairness, if you got to choose who's going to have the ball, you're going to say LeBron. So I think what has to happen at this stage is less of LeBron, allow more of the others, and you won't have to make a trade. And then LeBron can close the game for you, or slash AD can help close the game. I personally think the Lakers are okay. They just have to kind of revamp their scheme. Now, does that a large piece of that fall on Darvin Ham? Yes, it does, because he's the head coach. You got to call shots, and sometimes you have to make call those shots that are not going to be most popular, with the brass or with the better players on your team. But sometimes you got to do that, and we'll see if that can happen. The Lakers are what? They're the ninth seed right now in the West, but they're only like 4 games out of becoming like the fifth seed. So if they can make up a couple games here and there and get on the streak, they'll be right in the mix. So they're not that far off, but they can be if they don't get their act together. But I get what you're saying. Make a move. But I think they made moves. I mean, they brought in Jackson Hayes. They brought in Russell for a second time. You know what I'm saying? They brought in Vanderbilt. They brought in this guy. They let Westbrook go. The Lakers have been making all these moves, but the constant is AD and LeBron. Run your stuff through AD. He's the ultimate mismatch in the NBA outside of Joel Embiid and outside of Jokic. He's there. He's that skilled on both ends.
And I don't necessarily disagree with you. And Braun said himself, put him back at the point guard and just let him
Yep.
pass the ball.
Yep.
And I agree with that. Go back to the 2020 ways because that's when you won, when Braun was at the point. And I don't disagree with you saying AD running through AD, let AD do this. But this is my problem with AD. When you running through AD, is AD gonna show up when you need AD? Because like I said, they tried to run through him the first game of the season against Denver. Why you drop 0 points in the second half? I just don't understand that.
Hmm.
Why? And then I shouldn't hold my breath every time you fall.
Well, that's part of it. That's part of the AD experience. That's going to happen. Now this year he's really done well. The numbers show that he's been able to withstand this season so far. So take advantage of that while you can. But yeah, I think that. I mean, as a matchup, like outside of a Jokic, outside of an Embiid, and outside of maybe Giannis, you know, he should be able to have a easy double double most nights. There's not too many bigs in the league in the first place, and then there's not too many that has his skill set. Like Anthony Davis shoot from the three, he can drive on you. He got a hook shot. He can pull up from 17, 15. He's got a bank shot. He's got every move in the book. I mean, I would go through him, and then that's gonna make life easier for a lot of other players on the team. But we'll see. We'll see. If they did make a trade, who would you have wanted to see on the Lakers?
That's a good question. I, I really just wanted a third option guy. Um, a lot of people
Like a
saying,
DeRozan, maybe? Like a DeRozan or somebody? Or
that's a great. I'm just gonna get into that.
okay,
So a lot of people saying like major superstars like Mitchell and Trey Young. First off, I did not see Trey Young coming. Mitchell,
yeah,
I could have seen just because Cavaliers want to get out of that contract. So I
yeah,
kind of could have seen that, but you would have been giving up a lot just to get Mitchell. Now,
exactly.
now this the people I would have cared to see. I would have seen DeMar DeRozan, Zach Levine,
Yeah,
DeJounte Murray from the Hawks. Them three guys, I would have been okay with. Levine, now we got another point. Maybe you have Austin Reeves come off the bench. That's your spark plug. Your Malik Monk, maybe. Then you have D'Lo at the two, or you put well, no, I don't think D'Lo be that good off the bench. But you put D'Lo at the two, we good. Bring in DeMar. Now you got a great mid range. He can pass the ball a little bit. He can get you a couple boards. He help out on defense. We good to go. You now, if we're gonna go long term and with a championship, go get you DeJounte Murray. Young guy, tall, can get you some boards, can pass the
Play
ball,
defense.
can play
Hmm.
defense. When Trey Young sit, that's your guy that's gonna get you the points. Now, when you got AD sit, like when they played the Celtics a couple nights ago, when AD sit, when Bron sit, D'Lo, Murray, Reeves, somebody gonna score. You got no excuse. Well, one of them guys might would have to. Yeah, one D'Lo probably would have went, but
They had to
somebody,
stagger. Yeah, somebody would have got traded, but that's.
yeah,
I
somebody would have got.
mean, you know,
But and
yeah,
I think a lot of reason that the Lakers didn't make a trade is because they want to get rid of Austin Reeves, and that's what most teams wanted was Austin Reeves. Now I'm kind of okay with that, but if somebody and the one thing is with the Lakers, which I just don't understand, they say that teams ask for too much, but what you getting back in return, you probably would have been okay with. Kyrie Irving, you might have been okay giving two or three bigs or somebody. I would personally, I would have gave it away. Now, let's say
they,
they wanted to give us Donovan Mitchell and they wanted D'Lo, Rui, and maybe one of our backup guys. Personally, I would have did it because we still got some wings, we still got some rebounders, and now I got Mitchell helping me out with scoring. But I guess that's just the Lakers GM and they coach philosophy. I'm not too sure. It's just frustrating that time for them.
yeah. Again, it's Los Angeles. It's the Lakers. You know, been following that team for a long time through the Magic era, Kobe era, Shaq era. You know, the lean years, the Kobe good years, the Kobe Gasol years. You know, the Lonzo Ball, D'Angelo Russell, Julius Randle, Kuzma, Josh Hart draft class, you know what I'm saying? All the way up to LeBron joined the team, all the way up to trading all the young assets for AD. And the Lakers just have a history of, um, well, first of all, it's the Lakers. So they've been popular for a long time now. And so they're always going to be the talk of the league, always going to be in the discussion for trying to get key players. So anytime you hear of a player, it's always going to be, or the Lakers are interested in this player, or this player's going to end up with the Lakers. You know, that's just how it go. But I think the pieces are there. I just think they got to figure out how they need to, who's going to be the coach long term, what's going to be the system. Because to me, if you organize those players a little bit, I think you got enough. Because if you think about it like this, I mean, who's on Sacramento? You know, after you name Sabonis and Fox, I mean, who's so great? You know what I'm saying?
Week month.
Who's going to play? Right. How great is he? Like, and he was a Laker at one time too, by the way. Not too long ago. But like, if you look at, let's just say the Nuggets, who's the perennial All Star on the Nuggets? You know what I'm saying? So if you sort your players out like you need to, put them in the right positions, I think you can get by with what you have. Now, will that get you a championship? Probably not, but at least keep you in the picture for a for a couple rounds at the very least. But you never know in the West. I mean, anything can happen. You know, a team like OKC, who's at the top now, they don't have the experience. We talked about that with the NFL.
You're
So
right.
when they get into the playoff, don't get me wrong, I like what OKC has done. I like what they've done for years. Like their general manager, whoever, Presti, man, he need to be with the Hawks. He need to be with the Lakers. You know, that man know how to find talent and draft talent, but they don't have the experience yet. So the experience isn't intersecting with their talent yet.
It's
They can
gonna
get in
take
the playoffs,
or two
yeah,
for
but they can right. They can lose in the first round this season. You know what I'm saying? And there won't be no shame in that. But that's where the lack of experience is. The Lakers, one thing they do have are two grizzled veterans at this point with LeBron and AD to help, that can kind of take advantage of a team that don't have experience. So do what you got to do to be in the mix, and you never know.
yeah, because if
But I know you had. Oh, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
OKC get that one seed, and let's say they get somebody like the Lakers,
Yeah,
most going to take the Lakers, and that experience is gonna kick in.
yeah. Kind of like with Sacramento and Golden State.
Golden
Look,
State.
Golden State took them. I thought Sacramento was a better team. You know what I'm saying? But that experience, especially in that game 7, you saw it. You know, you saw the difference. Now, better team. If you told me they were going to play the best of 14, I would have went. Sacramento probably would have took it. But that best of 7, the experience took over at that point. So we'll see where that goes. I know you said you had some other trades you want to discuss. What's that? What else is going on out there?
So my first TikTok video that I ever dropped was about the Detroit Pistons. And today, the Detroit Pistons have made a trade. Now, yesterday,
Okay.
they had Cade Cunningham out, they had Bojan out, and they beat the Sacramento Kings. Now, I've been saying for weeks, months, the Pistons are not a bad team. Now, I'm not saying they're good because their record are their record, but they're not what their record shows. So today, they made a trade and they had Bojan go to the Knicks.
Hmm.
Now, for the Knicks, I like it.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson, balling. You're going to get Julius Randle back. He's out right now injured, but you're going to get him back. You're going to get Mitchell Robinson back also. That's going to come off injury. You got OG Anunoby that's been a great fit for them. I know Stephen A. Smith somewhere smiling his butt off. And you didn't really lose nobody. You still got
Hmm.
Dante DiVincenzo. You still got Josh Hart. You still got Isaiah Hartenstein. So tell me your thoughts on this trade.
Man, look, you asked the question, and I guess, man, this is great. Either great writing by you or coincidence here. But yeah, the Knicks. Remember, you just asked me what team we think I thought need to make a trade, and the Knicks, man. This is an excellent trade. It's not going to be one of those trades that's going to make the 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 headlines, right? The major headlines and everything. But for a pure basketball standpoint, the Knicks really, you got to give that management credit here. You mentioned OG Ananobi. That was an excellent pickup. Just what they need, just what the doctor ordered. They need a good perimeter defender, a guy that's going to blend in with the offense. Not going to take Randall out of his game. Brunson can still do his thing, but you have that defender and OG, and also he can get you a couple buckets. But picking up number 44 from Detroit, excellent veteran player. He understands the assignment. He's gonna play his role. He's not coming in here trying to take over the team, but he's gonna make some big buckets for this team. It's gonna strengthen their secondary, their second unit. With DiVincenzo and Hart coming in with all that energy, and you have a guy like this that can either play with the backups or with the starters. I love it, man. And for New York fans, you should be, roaming the streets right now and celebrating because these are the type of moves that put you in the championship picture. These are the type of moves that can help you beat a team like the Celtics in the second round. And who knows what happens from there. So I like this move by the Knicks.
Yeah. Now, for in return, the Pistons got. Let me bring it up real quick. The Pistons got in return. They got Evan Fournier, Malachi Flynn, Quentin
Yeah.
Grimes,
Hmm.
Ryan. I'm not even gonna try to butcher his last name. And two second round picks.
Okay.
And the ESPN they graded it a C plus. They graded the Knicks a A. I would give the Pistons a little more credit because the thing is with Bojan, he was a great second scorer for them. But if Ivy and Durant can score like they did without Cade and Bojan, they're gonna get something rolling. I like Quentin Grimes. I think he's a good scorer. They bring some rebound. Bojan, right? If you go on the betting lines, I say prize picks. Sometimes his boards be like 3 rebounds.
Hmm.
You need and you at the small forward position. You should at least be trying to get about 5 or 6. You bring in some. So I would actually grade that Pistons trade a B minus, maybe a B.
Even
Because
more importantly,
what do you
go
got?
ahead, finish your thoughts there. Well, I'm
Because
gonna say even more importantly is that the Pistons. You said it earlier, 7 victories. So having Bogdanovich on the roster isn't gonna. help. I mean, they got 7 wins with him on the roster. You know what I'm saying? So you might as well allow the younger guys like a Ivy, give them more minutes now, give them more experience, let this team grow. You know what I'm saying? I remember there was a time when the Pistons were in this same kind of position, and they drafted Isaiah Thomas. And you let that cook for a couple years, and you let the Kelly Chapukas, the Isaiah Thomases, and then they drafted Joe Dumars and Rodman over the year, this Sally, and they built something with all their young talent. So I see with Detroit trying to do something similar here. I think it's a good move for Detroit. I would up their grade a little bit too, not only because of what they receive, but also in what they let go to allow some of their younger talent to grow, continue to grow.
Yeah, you didn't lose nothing. You
Yeah,
you you didn't lose nothing. And
yeah, keep the young
so
core.
and we're gonna say when what I think is the best trade or a great trade. We're gonna say that for last. We're gonna dive into what I think, in my opinion, I wouldn't say a useless trade, but a trade that really didn't matter much to me, or I think really wasn't all that, was the Dallas Mavericks, Kyrie and Luka. I just don't see like that trade just was like amazing, or like I just don't know what to say. I don't got no words for this trade. I just don't know what to say. Like, because what do you like? Maybe another superstar or
It's
somebody a
tread,
little bigger?
it's treading water, man. Like Dallas is treading water, and Dallas has been this way. Ooh, for how long now? 20 years now. They're kind of like they're too good to be bad. They'll have talent on their team to where you would think, oh, they could make a run, but they don't. And so they're kind of like right in that middle ground, that six, that 4 through 6. They kind of right in there, and that's what this move does. It keeps them right there, 4 through 6. I don't see them beating the Clippers. I don't see them overtaking the Nuggets with this because it doesn't really add something new to the team. If you get what I'm saying.
I just don't see what are you gonna do with PJ Washington? It's not like, I mean, he's not had a bad season, but
Yeah,
it's not like it's just something crazy.
yeah,
That you got a good rookie in Derek Lively. I just
yep,
don't see like where's your help in that.
yeah. I mean, he's not a bad player. I mean, getting Washington is not bad, but it's just not great either. You know what I'm saying? Because still, at the end of the day, like what I said earlier about LeBron, have the ball a lot. It's a gift and a curse. Luca's the same way. He's a gift and a curse. Luca's probably gonna break every record LeBron sets if Luca doesn't get hurt and plays on 20 plus years like LeBron has. If he gets to play his entire career pretty much injury free and be a power forward playing point guard, Luca is gonna eventually break records too down the line. But where's that leading you? You know what I'm saying? Unlike LeBron, where's that leading you, Luca? Where's your championships? Where are your NBA finals? You know what I'm saying? Where's that coming from? Because you're still kind of taking away from others on your that's playing alongside you. And I mean, it's great because he's definitely a deadly mismatch, and he has to use that skill set. But at the same time, have you seen a player that played with Luca really become something special? You know what I'm saying? That's where we are,
The
just in
the
that no
back
man's land.
the backup characters play better when Lucas out.
Yeah, and look at Brunson now in New York.
Yeah, Tim Hardaway, Kyrie, they play better when Luca's
Yeah,
sitting. When Luca come,
yeah,
now you gotta spread the light. Like I said, I
yeah.
just don't. I just wanted to sit down with Jim Manager and be like, where was your game plan with getting this trade? I just don't see like why that trade was necessary.
You know what I would like with Luca? Give me give. If I'm Luka Doncic, give me defensive players. Give me spot up 3-point shooters. That's all.
Agree.
That's all he needs. That's all he needs. You know, that's what he really needs. But until then, again, they're going to be good. Dallas is going to be in the playoffs. Dallas is going to. They're not going to be squeaking in the playoffs this year. They're going to be in there, and they're gonna give somebody fits in that first round. Now, do they get out that first round? We'll see, depending on who they playing. And even if they do, will they get out the second round?
Yeah. Now, swinging back to the East, I think the East made some great trades today. I
Okay.
like the Buddy Hill trade. I like this Buddy Hill trade because I ain't gonna sit on names now, but 76ers did go to
Ooh.
another. They got rid of one of their players. You brought in some offense. You might have lost a little defense, but you brought in some offense. And I
Mm-hmm.
like because now you got Joel, Tyrese, Buddy, and Tobias Harris. You got something cooking here. And that's what you need when you go against the Celtics, the Bucks, and the Knicks. Because the Knicks
Yeah.
are making a name for themselves. So I
Yeah.
like the Buddy Hill trade. I think it's way better than this Mavericks trade.
I
What's
agree.
what's your thoughts on it?
That's my thoughts right there. I agree. I like the move. Buddy Hield is a, I think he's finding his niche in the NBA, and he likes to take those threes, and he makes threes. And with Embiid being a guy, and we're assuming Embiid's going to play. We're assuming he's going to be healthy, but with Embiid as the guy that's drawing all the attention, now it's going to make it tougher for defenses to, kind of, crowd Embiid, if you will, because he's going to make you pay by finding Buddy Hield. And so, with that said, I think that's a good move. Get that shooting. That's something that they need. They need shooting.
Now with the
I'm with it.
Mavericks, I said I didn't really like their trade. Then we came back to the East. They made a good trade. So going back to the West, making up for that Mavericks trade, we got Gordon Hayward, and this is one dude I like.
Interesting.
Gordon Hayward goes to OKC, and I think this is a good trade. Even though Gordon Hayward's out and he has some injury problems, OKC didn't give up nothing. They
Yeah.
sent Trey Man and Davis Bertans to Charlotte. You didn't really give up nothing. You got you a vet. You got some offense. You got a little bit
Yep.
of defense. You got Shea having a phenomenal year. He's second in MVP. You got Shit Hungry, amazing rookie, which that's a whole debate in itself. But amazing rookie. You got both the Jalen Williams. I like this Gordon Hayward trade. What's your thoughts?
Man, look. The first thing I see is a veteran. And we just and it's so funny, man. I'm telling you, man, you need to work for WWE, man, because the script that you're writing, man, it's writing itself right now. We just talked about how OKC could go out in the first round because of lack of experience. Well, guess what? You're bringing in an
You bring
experienced
some
wing
experience.
player, somebody who can help tell them, like, look, this is what it's gonna look like in these situations. This is what I'm saying. Don't I'm not gonna take this guy lightly, that guy lightly. I played against this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a great fit, and he can still perform. And you don't necessarily have to have him play a lot of games right now. You just need them healthy in the postseason. That's what we need. That's when OKC needs Hayward is in the postseason. So you can kind of work him in during the regular season right now. The young legs for OKC will get this. Will finish with the 1/2 seed this season in the West, and that's where you're going to see the benefits of having a Hayward, Gordon Hayward. I like the move. It's a smart move. Nothing to lose either in this case. You know what I'm saying? If let's just say Hayward for some reason says, hey, I want to go to another team somewhere and try to finish out my career and get a championship somewhere real quick, they can move on from Hayward. You know what I'm saying? And they'll have room to sign somebody else. So I think it's smart. Again, give Sam Presti his credit. This guy's he's up in that genius territory right now when it comes to being NBA general manager.
And another thing about that Hayward, he's been around young teams. When the
Yep.
Celtics, you had Jalen Brown, you had Jason Tatum, you
Good
had Kyrie
point.
Irving. He was around
Yep.
that young team. So he didn't been in
Very good.
that situation also of been around
Yep.
young teams, working with a young team. So I think it
Oh
was a
yeah.
great trade for OKC. ESPN rated it a A, not a bad
Yep.
trade for the Charlotte Hornets. They rated it a B. That team is just it's just working, 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 working. You got Brandon Miller, he's doing good right now. Miles Bridges
Hmm.
doing good. LaMelo, he's been battling injuries, but he's always been a ball player. I think that was a pretty decent okay trade.
Yeah, and then Charlotte will bring in Lonzo Ball soon, so next year or so. So this works out, man, all the way around the board.
And now, in my opinion, the best trade that happened today, and I said on the show before, we have Drew Holiday versus and Dame. Now, not Drew Holiday. I'm tripping. I'm sorry. My bad,
No, no,
guys.
no, yeah,
Patrick Beverly and
yeah.
Dame. And the reason I said Drew Holiday, when Drew went to the Celtics, and people have been calling Drew the Dame stopper. And I said it before, if it had to go to a 7 game series of the Celtics versus the Bucks, give me the Celtics because you got rid of your defense and you got rid of your bench too much for Dame. You need some kind of help. You bring in more defense. You bring in Patrick Beverly, and I like that. This is a guy that you have kids saying, "Oh yeah, it's that Pat Bell D, it's that Pat Bell defense." I like this trade because this is what you needed. And I said Drew Holiday, I meant Patrick Beverly, but when you brought Drew in, Drew helped out the Celtics because you didn't give up nothing, and you got Kristaps, Jalen Brown, Derrick White, Drew Holiday. The Celtics started five within the All Star conversation,
Hmm.
and I just think that was a great trade. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, it's exactly what they needed because, for one thing, Patrick Beverly's a role player, right? And that again, I thought people hear game manager of football and they say, "Oh, no, that's not bad." Being a role player in the NBA is not bad either. There's
Not
only like
bad.
400 players in the NBA, and this man continues to get a job on the roster, so he has a skill, and his skill is to come in and play defense. Is to harass. Is to bring energy. Let's not forget, Timberwolves had a major moment with Beverly on their roster and had a nice season when they had Patrick Beverly. The with the Clippers, Patrick Beverly was a pest for a lot of opponents. Same thing with the Lakers. Everywhere Beverly goes, he brings energy to a team, and you don't have to worry about his minutes. You don't have to worry about this or that with him. You just know he's gonna bring that energy. And when it comes to practice, game preparation, playoff games, a game on a Wednesday night somewhere, Beverly's gonna bring the energy. And the one thing that Damian Lillard does not do well is play defense. So why not bring in a perimeter defender to help your roster? Because any kind of defense coming from Patrick Beverly with having Giannis lurking in the back is a plus. And so that's one of the things. And then Patrick Beverly, he's familiar with Doc Rivers too. So this is what they needed. And he's also a de facto coach as well because Beverly's going to be talking to all those role players on the team as well and keep them engaged. So overall, I think that's a solid move there by the Bucks. Smart move too. The Eastern Conference, man, that second round of the playoffs in the East is going to be fun.
It's gonna be depending where everybody match up where that the
Yeah,
East is gonna be exciting to watch.
yeah,
I
it's
think the
going to be
playoffs in
fun.
whole gonna be exciting to watch just because how everybody's playing.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
And in a couple weeks, not even a couple, coming up pretty fast in this, we got the All Star game coming
Yes,
up,
sir.
and we got our West versus East. Ron's our captain for rest. For our East, we got Joel Embiid, which is not injured. So there are reserves with Trey Young and Scotty Barnes. In your opinion, who do you think you start with the East and then go to the West was the biggest snubs for the All Star?
Well, I would have said Trey Young, and technically, I think it's him. When you have a guy averaging 20, 25 plus and 10 plus on the assist side, and he's been doing that year in and year out. Um, I don't see how he doesn't make the All Star team. Does he have to be a starter? No, but he has to make the team. Now, fortunately for him, as far as his All Star, back of his basketball card, saying how many All Star games he's been a part of. Fortunately for him, Joel Embiid got injured. That kind of helped open the door there for a slot, and he's in there. But I do think he should have been in there regardless. Um, So that was one of my snubs. Scotty Barnes came to mind, but I think they both got added, as you said. So those are the two players that came to mind for me. Off the top, really don't see anything major as far as the East goes. A lot of the players that are on the All Star roster, they pretty much have a legitimate reason to be there. Looking at Donovan Mitchell, but you look at the team; their team is very successful, and I like the way winning when you're talking about that as well. Now I know the 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 Hawks doesn't have a great record, a tremendously great record, but you see the value of a Trey Young, regardless of what team he's on, and so that would have been my snub if you technically want to go to snubs there, even though he was added late.
Yeah, I agree. And when I did my voting, I made a TikTok, I posted on Instagram. People was like,
You did.
putting in Scotty and putting in Tyrese is wild. I like I said, I didn't care if they started. That's why my second one was a little more realistic, a little more non-biased. But you're crazy to say that Tyrese and Scotty should not be in there, which Tyrese got in the first time, but Scotty is your next guy. That's your second guy for most improved player. Also with Trey Young, he's been good. He got
Yeah.
snubbed. That's number one snub. I agree. That's your number one snub. And the way we see this East right now of how we got this many guys, I think it should be expanded to that many guys.
Ooh. Ooh, man, that's. I mean, that's a good. I mean, that's an interesting point.
You're not
It
adding
would definitely.
two more guys.
Yeah, I mean, I know they did the what they did the other year when they added Wade and 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 somebody else for for some legacy reason or whatever. If you're gonna add players like that, you might as well add two more All Stars, to the roster because it's an All Star game. And in a funny way, if you do that, then there should be no excuses for the teams to go at it because you have more players that will be available to the coach, and everybody should be out there competing. You know what I'm saying? What I don't want to see in the All Star game, and is I don't want to see this lollygagging playground style of game, just letting everybody run to the basket and lay the ball up. I want to see the two teams compete. Now it doesn't mean you have to play for blood. It don't mean you have to knock players to the floor, but I would like to see some resistance on both ends. I like to see both teams run some sort of basic offense and some isolation plays, pick and rolls and stuff like that. I would want to see these teams compete. So add two more slots. If that's what I'm gonna get from it as a result, let's do it. Let's add two more slots.
I was add two more guys because it's what's the difference? There's no difference. And then
Yeah.
also, I mean, God forbid, and I don't want to speak in existence, but guys get hurt. It happens almost every year. Guys get
Yep,
hurt.
it does.
And the West, we don't see no guys hurt now, but guys get hurt. So we're just adding two more. All you're doing is replacing guys already. And
Yeah.
then once you add, you still gonna have people say, "Oh, he got snubbed," but the snub conversation goes down a tad bit because now that guy's already in. He shouldn't be in
Yeah.
reserve in the first place. Now kicking it to the West, I'm actually cool with the West. Maybe Sabonis.
I think Sabonis, Sabonis would be my number one snub. Uh, Record wise, Sacramento's been in the mix, right? He's to me, he's their best player. In my opinion, Sabonis is their best player. He's their de facto point guard. He's their Jokic, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Triple Double. He makes the decisions with the ball up top of the key area. He's the one that makes the decisions out there. Fox, he's a scorer. He's a point guard that like to score. Not knocking that at all. But Sabonis is really their key. You take Sabonis off that team, you probably drop Sacramento down about 6 slots in the West. So yeah, I see that as being a snub. I definitely see that,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
get
Go ahead, Mr. Point.
well, I get honorable mention too, and that's James Harden. James Harden, you know, he's taken a lot of hits over his career, Now, when the man's scoring 40 points a night, 10 assists, hitting 7, 8 threes in the game every night in Houston, oh, he's just gunning. He's just shooting, running, gunning. They ain't gonna win no championship like that. He ain't gonna go nowhere. He ain't worth this. He ain't worth that. Goes to Philadelphia, settles in, allows Embiid to do his thing, averaging double digits in assists in Philly. Sacrificed his game. Still wasn't getting the credit he was due. Scored, I think he scored 40 points twice in a round against Boston in the playoffs. But we hear about the game when he did score a lot. But he wasn't the best player on the Sixers. It was Embiid. He did his job. You know, move him now to the Clippers. He's steady, 17-10. He's the he's the facilitator on that roster, and the team is winning. They currently have the best record in the West. Who would have thought that? So I think that Harden would be my honorable mention on being an All Star. I would technically, and I know it sounds a little crazy, but I would take him over Curry right now this season for the All Star.
Mm, it's a hot take. I won't put Harden over Curry. I won't put him over because Curry
Who
is
is he made better? Who's Curry made better?
yeah, but I agree. But if you asking why the word is still relevant right now, it's you're hey, I think they did enough justice. Now I would have been okay with you saying let's say Harden was in here and Curry was a starter. I might put
Yeah,
Harden over Curry as a starter. But taking Curry out of the All Star game, I couldn't do it. Especially you're the main reason that they have any type of success. The Warriors.
right. They're what 11 seed now or something.
Yeah, you it might be last if it wasn't for Curry. Second, you know you're doing something right if the team says anyone but Curry.
I mean, he's their franchise guy. I get that, and I'm not saying that Harden's a better player than Curry, but I just think Harden this season is doing more for his team than
Now, now if I
and he's doing it with less stats. He's not, you know what I'm saying? Like what Curry is doing, I haven't seen Curry this season lift his team. He hasn't lifted the players around him. Like he's getting his, you know what I'm
but,
saying? And that and
but
and that's his style of play.
I'm about to say you're talking about two different play styles though. Also, Harden is a point guard, and me and you both agreed on this. Curry's not a point guard. Curry's a shooting guard.
Yeah,
That's what. So you're talking about two different styles of play. Yeah, Curry might not make nobody better, but Curry gonna win you the game. Harden
yeah.
play style
Well,
is here, get you an assist.
yeah. But I'll take the player in the 1 seed slot over the guy that's even behind our Lakers. Like they're down in their abyss this year. Maybe that can help motivate Curry to motivate the Warriors to make some real moves here and try to get back in the mix. But you know, it's definitely a hot take. But I can see Harden deserving to be in there this year, and I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. I mean, this guy is doing what people want, what fans want NBA players to do. He's sacrificing, but yet we're not talking about.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And another, and like if I had to go, basically what the East did, they went backcourt,
Yeah.
front court. If I had to go backcourt, front court, it would be Harden, and it would be the Sabonis. Now, if I had to go a third guy, which the same reason why I did Maxey and Barnes, I would have put in Alfred Sengun from the
Oh
Rockets.
yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. A lot of people don't talk about Sagoon. I like Sagoon.
Exactly. See, I'm always gonna put the guys that we deserve to be in there. Not because, in my opinion, and this is I give you a hot take. I would make Dame a starter.
I don't have no problem with that statement.
I put I put Tatum up there. I put Jalen Brunson up there. Jalen Brunson can have Dame
Yeah.
spot.
I put Trey Young in Dame's spot.
Hey, I was gonna say that at first, but just because he was reserved, I got to make a little more sense. I put
Yeah.
I put Jalen Brunson, and I put J, Jalen Brunson and Jalen Brown. I put both of the Jalen's in his spot. They can have it, and
Yeah,
Dame can
that's
come out.
fair.
It's
Yeah,
it's just like I
or
always
even
tell,
Mitchell.
or Mitchell. I always tell people certain players are gonna lose because it's a popularity contest at the end of the
Hmm.
day. Because when the first returns came back, ain't no way Kyle Kuzma was in that top 10 of the first returns. I don't care. Over Franz Wagner, y'all can stop that. Y'all can stop that. It's a popularity contest at the end of the day. Just because Kyle Kuzma's the cool guy on the Wizards. And y'all can't stand Jordan Poole right now. That's the real reason.
Yep, it is. That's part of it, man. I wish they would let the fans vote the dunk contest. Let us vote. Let us vote for half of the dunk contest field. Move the dunk contest field to 8 contestants. Let the fans vote for 4 of them, and then the league can pick the other 4. So at least we get 4 people in there that we want to see in the contest. And the other 4 are going to be good dunkers as well, but they may not be the box office names or whatever. And then just do it like a tournament bracket, and then call it a day. I bet you that would make it a much better contest.
I agree with you. I'm there. But I feel like the only reason that wouldn't work, they would have to make the people we pick, like they have to make them in the dunk contest. Like they can't
Yeah,
say no. And
yeah,
that's the only reason why that's because if personally, and this might be controversial, I want to see Obi Toppin in the dunk contest.
yeah,
He come in game under the legs. I see
yep.
that dunk contest. Maybe over a 5 foot guy under it, but they can't say no. I feel like a lot of these guys are gonna say, "Nah, I don't want to be in the contest." John Morant should be in there. Anthony Edwards should be in there. LeBron
Yep,
James should be in there. Obi Toppin.
yep.
There go you four right
That's
now
fine.
that just can't. If they can't say no, now if you don't want to see an old Bron in the dunk contest,
I
what's
still want to see Braun in it.
I do too. But some people might be like, Braun 38. He can't. He might not can 3-6 like he used to. Um, what's another great dunker?
I mean, it's 8 slots, Cole, that
But
we're
you know,
talking about right here. So
I
let
know.
them dunk in the first
You know
round.
we gotta pick though. We gotta pick for the NBA.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, the NBA gonna bring us some garbage.
Well,
They
I know one that Derrick Jones Jr. I think I would love to see him in the contest. He'll probably just
okay,
sign up
yeah.
to be in it anyway. You
I'm
know,
okay with
and
the defending champ coming back also.
yeah, now, I personally have an issue with, and I know he's technically an NBA player, but this is NBA All Star Weekend, and I know they were talking about bringing in people from the
G League.
streets and things like that to be in contest. We don't need all that. You need guys who are on NBA rosters. There's plenty of players in the NBA that can do some serious dunks. Give me the guys who are on rosters. They just need to step up and show up. You
Now,
know what
if y'all
I'm
want to do a
saying?
celebrity All Star dunk contest, by all means,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Now let's have that. Yeah, let's have that. But
But
have
for
it
the
a
All Star
celebrity
dunk
or
contest, I want the guys in the league.
the
Agreed.
guys from the league. Exactly. Like, I know really square in my day, I remember racing home to see Dominique Wilkins versus Michael Jordan. And they had other guys in there like Terrence Stansberry, and so on and so forth. It was a great dunk contest. And let's go forward to the Vince Carter one. I wish he was in more of them, but that Vince Carter dunk contest was loaded. Go back to when Steve Francis was in that dunk contest. Tracy McGrady was in that contest. They would have won a dunk contest if there wasn't a Vince Carter in there. They were dunking that well, even in that contest. But give me stat cards like that. The probably the one of the best duels I've ever seen was the one with Aaron Gordon and Zach Levine.
Jack Levine,
That
great dunk
that was
contest.
probably the best duel dunk, that I've seen. And I'm talking about even better than the Michael Jordan versus Dominique Wilkins one that a lot of people say is one of the best in history. If you go dunk for dunk and look at those dunks that were made by Zach Levine and the dunks that were made by Aaron Gordon, you had combination of the jumping, the power, grace, and they were nailing their dunks. You know what I'm saying? They could have probably dunked all night. They kept one upping each other so bad that I think Dwayne Wade purposely, rigged it or they told him to do it. You know what I'm saying? But they did some kind of crazy vote and that kind of kicked Aaron Gordon out of the dunk contest. He said, I'm done with this now after that. But that was probably one of the best duels ever that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I agree. Aaron Gordon should do. I would do the same thing. Yeah, I'm tired for dunk contest after that. Cause Aaron Gordon
Yeah,
supposed to win the dunk contest.
man, woo. And Zach Levine was bringing it too. So yeah, that was awesome. But that's what we want, man. We want people to participate, man. Show your skill sets. I like Wimby in the whatever this competition is, where they zigzag and do all that stuff. I like Wimby being
Skills
in there.
contest.
Yeah, the skills contest. I'm excited to see him do that.
Sorry. Yeah, I like to see women in the skills contest.
Yeah,
But
yeah, awesome.
if we're gonna put women in there, might well put Shay in there too.
Hey man, bring them all. Let's go.
But I think that's all I got for today. You got any extra comments?
No man, I just want to thank you for bringing me on, man. I enjoy sitting there talking sports with you. You're doing great work. You know, I'm following you on your TikTok, your Instagram, your YouTube. All the videos, the shorts that you're putting out there. I try to make sure that I subscribe and share everything that you're doing because you're doing great work, man, and it's very inspirational.
Thank you, thank you. And with that being
Yes,
said,
sir.
y'all make sure that y'all subscribe to Mr. 411 World, but he also do his sports contest on there at 411 Sports World on YouTube. His Instagram Mr. 411. And we also got his TikTok at Mr. 411. Where he be putting
Yes,
great
sir.
content, great content out there. One of my OGs. They help me out a lot in this sports industry and sports content creation podcasting. And I just want to thank you,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
for joining me today. Y'all make
Appreciate
sure y'all
it.
subscribe, share, and comment on his stuff. And also with me at Co from the Low on Instagram and TikTok.
Yes,
Subscribe,
sir.
follow, share, turn on the post notifications so you know when I drop. And I thank y'all. Y'all have a good
Yes,
night.
sir. All right. We'll see everybody.